What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to this video. Today we're going to talk about Brute. Brute is a recent room released by TryHackMe. Let's take a look at the description. So here is the room, and as you can see we're required to provide two flags, the user and root flag. It's just plain simple CTF challenge. So let's jump in to the board and illustrate the concepts. So as you can see, the first thing that we will do in this machine is to enumerate the MySQL servers. We're going to enumerate, find out the tables, databases, the users, and we're going to perform brute force. I don't know why I wrote brute force, enumeration and exploitation. Technically no, it was the right brute force. So brute force, yeah. So after enough enumeration of the MySQL, we will find a couple users, right? We will use the users, we'll put them in a list, and then we will fire Hydra. Hydra will enable us to find a correct password for one of the users. So basically here we're going to use Hydra. With Hydra, we'll be able to get access to the MySQL server as root. From that point, enumerating the database is a matter of only a couple commands until we find that we have a user called Adrian. So from here, Hydra into Adrian and a hash. So with Adrian as the user and the hash, we use hashcat. So hashcat to crack the hash, and then from that point we have username Adrian and password along with the root username of the MySQL servers and its password. So finding Adrian as the user and its password will lead us to log into the web page and perform PHP log poisoning, which I will explain when we jump into it. This will get us reverse shell access. So from log file poisoning we will have shell, okay, and from the shell we will discover that there is a note on the server or on the machine that has some hints about using hashcat to build word list. So we build word list according to the note. So the catalyst here is the note. Okay, according to the note that we find, we build a word list, and based on the word list we will be able to get access to this SSH server, or as an SSH user. From that point we perform privileged escalation. Very easy. Alright, so let's now jump to the practical side. Alright, so here is the nmap scan. As you can see, we have FTP, we have SSH, and we have HTTP, and lastly we have the MySQL server running on port 3306. It's tempting to start with the HTTP or the FTP, especially that sometimes there is anonymous access allowed, so it's worth checking it out. But for this challenge, let's save some time and immediately jump to the way how the challenge is solved. These are the results of the script scan. Okay, scrolling down. So this is it. This is the nmap scan. Alright, now what we can do here, guys, we will perform MySQL enumeration, as there is nothing to do with SSH. There is nothing to do with the web page. If you try to open it, FTP access as well, anonymous is allowed, but there is no access actually. So basically you are left only with MySQL server. So we're going to enumerate that a bit, or to do further enumeration on the MySQL server by using nmap scripting engines. So nmap again, sudo nmap -sv -here, we specify the port 3306 -- script, and we will try to enumerate for the users, okay, because the room name is brute and it is very indicative of the nature of the challenge. We need to find users and brute force the passwords, okay. So for that we use MySQL. Let's go to open new tab or split, cd users cd share, cd nmap, paste cd scripts. Alright, ls-la grep nmap, grep MySQL. So we have these scripts. We're going to use most of them to enumerate. Let's use MySQL users. So only we take this. Alright, and lastly we type in the IP address of the machine. Hopefully we'll be able to find the users on the MySQL server. Now guys, this step is not mandatory. You can assume a specific user on the MySQL server and try to find the password of that user. Normally in all MySQL deployments there is the root user, so you can try your hand by trying to crack the password of the username of the root user. So nothing in here. Okay, I think we need to use the other scripts. So enum and also we will use MySQL audit MySQL data bases MySQL dump hashes MySQL Let's try that now. And on a separate side, on a separate tab, guys, we're going to start Hydra. We will assume that there is an active root username on the database, and we're going to enumerate it, or we're going to find out actually the password. So Hydra -l root -p user share word list.q. Alright, and then we type in the IP address again of the machine. So right now we have this command and we specify the service. It is MySQL. Let's let Hydra run for a bit. As you can see, it was very fast. This is the password of the user root and rock-q. Let's get back now to the enumeration scan results. As you can see, when we used the other scripts, okay, as you can see, we were able to spot a couple usernames: root, netadmin, guest, user, web, sysadmin, administrator. If you are interested in finding out the passwords of the other users, you can just go back and change the username here. But since we got now the root username, it's not, the situation won't get any better, right? Root is the best choice. So let's now log into the MySQL server with the root user. sh 10 10 17 75 -u root -p rock u. And now we are logged in. So show databases, information schema, MySQL performance schema. So let's now use the website database. Okay, now it's time to show the tables. So we have one table which is users. We can try to get more information about the table, the columns, by using describe users. As you can see, we have ID, username, password, and created at. These are the fields. So we are interested in uncovering the username and the password. So we're going to use select username, password from users. And as you can see here, we have the username and the hash. Okay, now we have to crack this hash. Okay, let's now go to or open a separate tab. This tab is fine. And now we're going to use hashcat. Before using hashcat, let's just understand the type of hash we're dealing with. So hash identifier. Let's take the hash. Not found. Okay, let's use an online resource. And while the browser runs, let's save this to a file. So close, CV desktop, and we save it to a hash file. So nano hash. Okay. Hash identifier online. So it is, as you can see, possible algorithms, bcrypt, blowfish. So now what we can do, we can go to hashcat and find out the appropriate mode for this. So hashcat samples, and let's look for blowfish. So as you can see, blowfish, the mode for this hash is 3200. Let's now use hashcat on this. So back here, and now we launch hashcat -m 3200 and the hash file. Okay, and lastly, we need to select a word list. So the word list will be user share word list value. Okay, so in my case, as you can see, I got this error, not enough allocatable device memory for this attack, and this might be because I'm running too many programs and stuff other than this virtual machine. But if you run this command, guys, you will find out that the password is tiger. Okay, the password is tiger. So if you go now to web browser and try to navigate to the web page that is hosted on the web server, we get login, right? So let's try with Adrian and the password we have just uncovered. Okay, welcome back, Adrian. Your log file is ready for viewing. So we have log file to view. Let's take a look at the log file. And this is the log file. If you look close enough on the log file, guys, as you can see, it says fail login. Another one here, connect client. If you take a look at the view of the page source, so let's see what do we have. Welcome back, Adrian. Your log file is ready for viewing, and these are the lines exist in the log file. As you can see, it is indicating as if there is some login attempts or failed login attempts, anonymous. So this could be the FTP log file. This could be the FTP log file. So to make sure that this is the FTP log file, let's now initiate or try to log into the FTP server and see if the login is registered or logged in this log file. Let's go ahead. So FTP here and the machine IP address. Let's try with anonymous. Before trying, let's go back to the page and mark the latest login attempt. So again, view page source. As you can see, it happened on 24 August, Wednesday, at this time. So mark this time, guys, and if you see another record after that time, it means that this is indeed an FTP log file. So going back, anonymous, specify the password, no password. Okay, let's go back. So here 29, 33, refresh. What happened? Refresh. View page source, and as you can see, we got new one. Fail login client anonymous. This means that this is indeed an FTP log file, and all of the login attempts are logged under this file. We are able to view this file. Bear in mind, guys, that this page is also PHP, and it is allowing us to view a log file. So this is actually a hint that we need to use log poisoning if you want to take this further. So to use log poisoning, what we have to do, we have to poison the log file. Okay, how to poison the log file? We can go to the FTP server here. We can initiate a login attempt, but instead of anonymous user, we're going to use some sort of PHP one-liner. Okay, by using the PHP one-liner, what's gonna happen as the username? What's gonna happen instead of anonymous here? We're gonna get the login file to show our command or execute the command if it is vulnerable. So if it is vulnerable, the command that we will write instead of the username will get executed once we visit the the page. So to do that, we're going to use purpose suite. So here purpose suite, okay, and we turn in the intercept. Before doing that, let's go back. And again, now here we're going to use a PHP one-liner. Okay, in this case, what we can do, we can say, where is the, okay, so PHP echo system, and inside this, oh, we can do that, so, okay, request. And say here we can type, I don't know, CMD would work, and we close the parentheses, semicolon, and lastly we close the PHP trail, test. Fine. Now let's go back. As you can see here, guys, it's empty here because what happened, it's trying to execute a command. So what we need to do now, we need to get back and use the parameter CMD to execute a real command. So basically, going back, we're going to intercept, okay, and refresh. So refreshing the page now, and what we're going to do, we're going to add the parameter we used in the one-liner PHP using, and hopefully I will be able to find the ampersand somewhere in my keyboard. Okay, and now CMD, let's try with a simple command ID. Okay, so now we're going to highlight all of this, intercept, response, forward. As you can see, guys, I got the ID of the current user. Now all left to do is to fire or to get reverse shell. So going back to the command line now, new tab, nclvp 4545. Okay, so next time now, forward, next time what we're going to do, refresh, and here we add CMD equal, here we're gonna add a reverse shell. Let's go back, let's go to my notes and check out the reverse shell again. If you have been watching my videos, guys, for a while, you will know that I am suffering from this problem. Windows Defender always blocking my notes file, despite the fact that I always whitelist them. It's so stupid. All right, let's get some reverse shell from here. Netcut could work, PHP bash could work. Okay, let's take this one. Before using that one, guys, we have to URL encode this. So we're going to perp suite and use the feature or the URL encode feature. So going to decoder here, paste this. So going back to the command line, we're going to change a couple of parameters here. In that case, we need the IP address. And change the port to 4545. So we're going to select encode. Encode as URL. So this is the corresponding one. I'm going to copy that and go back here, paste this. Hopefully after sending that, we will be receiving the shell. And now we go back, refresh the page. Still. Let's do that one more time. Coming back to the command, to the decoder, I think we missed something here. We need to use bash -c. Let's try now. And indeed now we got the shell. Let's now stabilize the shell, guys. So scrolling up, let's see here. Let's search for TTY. Yeah. And then we export the term. Control Z. Alright, so now we're supposed to be dealing with a stable shell. Let's now cd to home, cd Adrian. So we have the user.text cat, user.text, and this is your first. What the fuck? What? Oh my god. Permission denied. Who I am? ID. So I am dub data now, guys. I cannot view the flag. I need to switch to Adrian, which we will do that. Which we will do. So reminder cat reminder. So rules best of 64 plus exclamation attribute. So this is kind of cryptic at the hint side, but if you look closer at the rules, and if you also look closer or remember the fact that the challenge name is brute, you're gonna come with the conclusion that these are hints about using password or word list formation rules. So best of 64 is a rule in hashcat. And here we append an exclamation mark to the password attribute. So this is the password. It's not the actual password, it is actually the mutant of the password. We have to use this mutant, okay, along with an exclamation mark and along with the base of 64 rule in hashcat. So what we're going to do here, guys, we're going to create two rules file. Again, we're going to create what? Two rules file. So let's go back to our machine here, or my machine. And here let's create the first rule file, which will match this one, the exclamation mark. So here we can create a rule file simply by using nano rule brute.rule. Okay, and here we type $sign and exclamation mark. This is the first rule file that will use exclamation mark and add it to the password. Now the other rule file is the base of 64. We can find this rule file in hashcat directory. So if you go to lsla user share hashcat, okay, rules and grep, you see we have base 64 rule. We're going to use this rule file as well. So coming back to the node file here, we have now two rules file. The first one is from hashcat, and the other one is the one we built, which add exclamation mark to the word attribute. The last thing we have to do is to add the word attribute to a file. So again, nano, say it is password v1, and we add the word attribute to it. Alright then, so after all of that, we're going now to use hashcat to build a word list that will be composed of password mutants of this word, applying the two rules file we have created, the exclamation mark and the base of 64. This can be done with hashcat, hashcat -std out. First we specify the password file, and then the -r specifying the rule file. The first one, user share hashcat rules base of 64, and another rule file -r, which will be the one that we created, rule brute.rule, and then we send all of that to an output file, say word list pass text. Okay guys, so again, due to some limitations in my virtual machine this time, unfortunately, I'm sorry for that, I got this. But if you follow this command, you will create a one word list file which you will use to crack SSH password. So you can use now hydra -l, the username is Adrian, okay, -p, and the password list is this one that we created earlier from hashcat, and then specify the IP address 10.10, which was 1775, and SSH. Okay, since brute force takes some time, I'm not going to execute this command. By executing this command on your own, you will find the password of the user Adrian on the SSH server. So let's right now log in directly to the SSH server. SSH Adrian at and now I'm going to type the password, root question mark. Okay, and right now we are logged in as Adrian, so we have escalated from data, the web server user, to Adrian by the virtue of brute force and hashcat. So right now it's time to look at a way to escalate from Adrian to root. Let's go to Adrian directory now, cd home, cd Adrian, and cat the user flag. This is our first flag. Alright, right now we have to look for ways to uncover the root flag. Okay, ls-la, let's see what we have. So we have FTP, and we have these punch in and punch in.sh. Punch in sh is a bash script owned by root, okay, and Adrian can only read that, so Adrian cannot modify this. On the other hand, we have punch in, which is owned by Adrian. Let's take a look at both. So cat punch in, as you can see, it's all like lines composed of the same word and the time. It seems like something is running every minute and sending the output to punch in. So it could be that punch in script is sending the statement punched in at and the time that it ran at. So basically it means that punch in script is running every minute and sending this output to the file here. Let's take a look at the script here. So cat punch in sh. User bin echo punched in at, and here it's sending the date and time and storing the output in punched in, exactly the same way I explained this to you guys. So what do we do from here? Right now we cannot do anything, guys. Why? Because punch in script is not owned by Adrian and Adrian cannot modify on it. So what we could do normally, we could modify the script punch in to make it do something that we want, like escalating privileges or sending reversal, since it's running as root. But unfortunately we cannot do that because we are Adrian and we cannot modify on this. We have to find other way. Let's take a look at the FTP directory now. cd FTP, cd files, script, script. So here is, guys, another script. S/LA, and we have the notes here. Let's take a look at the script first. While read line do user bin sh-c echo line home Adrian punch in. Alright, so what does this mean, guys? This script is created to execute every line stored in the punch in file. So this means if we are able to add a command in the punch in file, if just we are able to do that, we can let the script here execute that line, because the script job here is to execute every single line written in punched. Okay, so if we write a command at the end here, we can make script execute this command here. So let's take a look now. As you can see, script is owned by Adrian and is modified or can be modified by Adrian. Let's take a look at the notes file here. That silly admin, he's such a micromanager, wants me to check in every minute by writing on my punch card. This explains the punch in and the punch in script. He even asked me to write the script for him. Little does he know I am planning my revenge. Okay, so it's very clear now what we need to do, guys. We need to write a line in here that will get executed by the script. If this script is running as a cron job by root, we will be able to spawn a shell by root now. So let's go ahead and try our luck. Okay, so now we go to back. So we are in here. We have to modify on this one. Okay, so now let's say tail punch in. So we have these. Okay, nano punch in, and at the very end I'm gonna add a single line. We can add every one. You can add Python reversal, you can add any sort of reversal. I'm gonna make it easier, guys, to not get into problems with connections and the shell doesn't trigger and whatsoever. So basically I'm gonna write this one. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give permission, or give the sudo bit permission to the bash. Okay, so chmod u plus s user bin bash. This is it, guys. Okay, now save this, and now let's wait for some time. Hopefully what we have written, let's cat now punch in or tail punch in. As you can see, we stored this one. Now according to the script here, it will execute every single line. When it comes to this, it will execute this, which will give the sudo bit to bash. And now when we execute bash on our own, it will give us the root shell. ls-la or -l user bin bash. As you can see, root. So it has been executed. So right now what we can do, we can say user bin bash -p id, and you are the root user. So cd root cat root, and the challenge is done. Okay, guys, I hope you like that, and I will definitely see you in the next video.